Chapter 6 Wiggle Your Bottom. Winston the kindly zookeeper sneaked the boy in through the back gate of Sir Basil's zoo again. "Welcome, welcome, welcome back, Mr. Bob." "Thank you so much, Winston. This is so kind of you. Sorry I don't have the money to buy a ticket."
"That's all right. We got away with it once, but we have to be careful. If Sir Basil Basildon sees you coming in this way, we'll both be in deep doo-doo."
"I understand," replied Bob, nodding seriously, but trying not to smile at the word doo-doo.
"So, what animal have you come to see at our little zoo today, Mr. Bob?"
"The blobfish."
"Again?"
"Yes. I've been reading up all about it in the school library."
"Best of luck spotting our little friend."
"I have an idea to try and get him out of his shell." Winston looked mightily confused.
"But, Mr. Bob, the blobfish doesn't have a shell."
"I mean, get him to not be so shy."
"Oh, that would be wonderful. As soon as I've mucked out the hippopotamuses, I'll head over."
The boy rushed to the aquarium, past the octopus and the stingray, both of which had crowds of children gathered around them. As usual, no one was looking at the tank that housed the blobfish. And once again, the blobfish was nowhere to be seen. Bob peered deep into the murky water. Once again, he tapped on the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing. He tapped harder this time. Tap, tap, tap. Still nothing. Bob tapped as hard as he could. Tap, tap, tap. After a few minutes, he saw a swirl of sand, and slowly the blobfish came into view. The fish looked timid at first. He hovered at the back of his tank, stealing glances at the boy on the other side of the glass. "Why is this annoying child here again?" the fish wondered, and hoped he hadn't been eating alphabeti spaghetti. Bob set his plan into action. The boy started to do his best impression of the fish. He widened his eyes and mouth and pretended to blow bubbles of air. The fish stared at the boy. What was this strange visitor doing now? Bob tried again. He widened his eyes and mouth as far as they could go and blew the biggest bubble he could. The fish swam right up to the glass. Then the most incredible thing happened. The blobfish began copying the boy. Bob blinked. Blob blinked. Bob blew a bubble. Blob blew a bubble. Bob twisted and turned. Blob twisted and turned. Soon, a crowd of children had gathered around the blobfish tank. This was turning into quite a show. Bob pushed his face right up against the glass. Blob did the same. Bob squashed his nose. Blob squashed his nose. The other children were in hysterics. Winston was busy feeding the piranhas, but hearing all the commotion, the zookeeper huffed and puffed his way over to see what was going on. A huge smile spread across the old man's face.
"Mr. Bob and Mr. Blob, the best double act in town."
Winston laughed heartily. The laughter made Bob feel funnier. The boy was on a roll now. He flapped his arms. Blob flapped his fins.
Bob floated up.
The fish floated up.
Bob floated down. The fish floated down.
The children all applauded. Finally, as an encore, Bob wiggled his bottom. Then Blob wiggled his bottom. A huge cheer broke out. "Hooray!" shouted Winston and all the visitors. Bob smiled and took a bow. Then Blob did too. The boy put his hand up to the thick glass. The fish put his fin up. It was as if they were touching. Winston put his hand on the boy's shoulder.
In all my years working at the zoo, I have never seen anything so joyous. Well done, boy.
Thank you, Winston. But I'm just getting started.
What do you mean, Mr. Bob?
Asked the zookeeper. But before he could answer, the boy was gone.